Welcome to another live stream watch-along reaction. Tonight we're watching and reacting to Trinidad and Tobago versus Cuba in the CONCACAF Gold Cup Prelims 2025. Second leg, 2-1 on aggregate for Trinidad and Tobago. They should easily figure this out. The first time they played home and home a couple of months ago, Trinidad went and slapped up Cuba. At home in Trinidad. They drew in Cuba. This time they won in Cuba. So if we go by past history, they should be able to handle this. We go by past history, they should be able to handle this and move on pretty easily. If we don't go by past history, well, we'll see what happens. But with that being said, Trinidad y Tobago contra Cuba en la Copa Oro Preliminar de la CONCACAF. Partida vuelta, 2-1 global. That's simple. And we're about to kick off. And they are showing it on FS1, weirdly enough. The second game that we're covering is on FS2, which is just weird, but whatever. Since there's no basketball, I guess they got to push for different stuff on FS1, and Russell Wilson has also went to the New York Giants, so good if you care about that. But I do. I don't want him to be a Steeler, so I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers, but since it's not Russ, but I don't care. Starting 11s for this match. Good for him. Starting 11 for this match. For Trinidad, we have Denzel Smith in goal. The back five of Tyrese Spicer, Hospitales, Trimmingham, Alvin Jones, Garcia. The midfield three of Phillips, Andre Rompersad, Kevin Molino, and the front two of Isaiah Lee and Jones for Trinidad and Tobago. For Cuba, in goal we have Rico Rosarena. The back four, Casanova, Piedra, Perez, Morion. The midfield four of Hernandez, Carrell Espino, Torres, Perez, Yasnier Matos. Yasnier Matos for Cuba. And Raballo up top for Cuba. Trinidad. The Trinidadians like me, so I kind of have to be partial. I have a soft spot for Trinidad, so a little bit partial, I guess, but how we doing? He's good. He's a good pitcher. Sadly enough, he'll be a Dodger in about 2 years. Whether it's because he gets traded there, then they sign him to an extension, or he ends up being the free agent that goes to the Dodgers because the Dodgers gets everybody. Well, the good news is he'll be a free agent after the lockout, so maybe he won't be a Dodger, but if he gets traded there in 2 years before the lockout happens and they extend him because Dodgers, right? He'll be a Dodger, so you hope that he doesn't go to the Dodgers for the lockout. Not that a lockout will stop the Dodgers from signing everybody, but it's a chance, depending on what they do with that lockout. Yeah, it seems to me there will be an MLB lockout after 2026. 5 minutes to kick off. Trinidad wearing black and gold, Cuba wearing white. Those black and gold Trinidad jerseys are awesome. I love it. And Tyrese Spicer is starting for Trinidad, by the way. So TFC fans can love that as well. Why? I guess you're asking about the lockout because teams are pissed off. The Dodgers are spending way too much, and the MLB owners are pissed. And the players, the ones who can't go to the Dodgers, are pissed. So honestly, both sides are pissed at one team. I feel like there's going to be a lockout because they want a salary cap finally in baseball instead of just luxury taxes. Be interesting. I mean, really, I mean, I'm surprised there wasn't a lockout the last time, or at least a longer lockout, a lockout that destroyed the season. This time it might. We might not have baseball for a long time in 2026, 27. We might not. So after the World Series in 2026, it might be another pandemic-like season, but not for a pandemic, for the strike at best. We might not have baseball till July. They'll have like another 60-game season, pandemic style, except there'll actually be fans this time. Interesting. I mean, Leon, I feel like they got screwed because I chose to do this in the Honduras game. That's what I chose to do. But if you want me to, I could. To do. Pretty much. I mean, I'm not surprised, really. Yeah, I am. They deserve it. They deserve it. They're a good club. They're a good nation team. They have a solid team. Why wouldn't I be? Like, if they deserve it, why wouldn't I be happy with it? Not after this season, but after the 2026 season, yeah, it sounds like. Starting 11, Smith, Hospitales, Trimmingham, Jones, Garcia, Spicer, Rompersad, Phillips, Molino, Jones, and Lee for Trinidad. If it was a World Cup, I think they'll probably play in the USA anyway, but they'll find a way to work around that. In other cases, if they're in the World Cup, no problem. I probably should pull up the other game on the computer. I think it's on FS2, right? It's on Tubi. Either way, starting 11 for Cuba: Rosarena, Perez, Morion, Piedra, Casanova, Raballo, Perez, Espino, Matos, Torres, Hernandez. I don't know what. I haven't got any of those ads. What the hell? I can't believe they're choosing those ads because you can't pick the ads that show up on your channel. So get mad at YouTube. Nobody can pick the ads that show up on their YouTube channel. I'm certainly not big enough. And if you can, I'm certainly not big enough to pick them. What? That's a you problem, not a me problem. That's a YouTube problem as well, but it's not a me problem. What the hell? I didn't know there were ads like that on YouTube anyway. Huh. Trinidad kit looks good. And we're off. Yeah, I've never seen that. But yeah, no, the way YouTube works is they put ads on the video they choose to put on the video. I don't choose what ads to put on my videos. So you can't get mad at me. Well, I don't even put in ad breaks on my videos. I just let YouTube handle it. So I don't even choose the ad break times on my videos. So YouTube handles it all. So I'm surprised there's an ad about that on YouTube itself. I mean, the only ads I get are freaking sports ads or cruises. Whether I'm watching my own videos or somebody else's, the only ads I get are the normal ones. The game's being shown on FS1. So yeah, I know Russell Wilson's with the Giants. I'm happy about it. And that's a red card. Red card already. Red card for Cuba. Damn. Cuba's down a man. Wow. Yep, that's a red. I didn't know there was any ads about stuff. I'm shocked because I didn't know there were ads like that ran on my videos. I didn't know YouTube chose to run. Because I can't pick the ads that ran on my videos. YouTube chose to run that ad. And that's crazy. That's all I'm saying. That's crazy. And Cuba's down to 10. Red card. Well, hey, the Steelers are getting Aaron Rodgers, which honestly I'm not that hyped about, but it's better than Russ. So I think they both suck. I wanted Justin Fields, so when he left, I was pissed. Oh, really? They're showing PBA bowling over Martinique. I don't even think I could watch Martinique and Suriname, actually. So basically, my line is this. If you're mad about an ad that's shown on my channel, I can't even choose for it to be shown. That's a YouTube problem, not a me problem. So that's my official line on that. If you're mad about an ad YouTube shows on my pre-rolls or whatever, they chose it. Get mad at YouTube themselves. Or also get mad at your... I mean, sometimes I think ads are served by your own use of the internet, so you could just get mad at yourself too. But if you wanted to get mad at somebody that wasn't you, get mad at YouTube. That's my line on it. And that's the way I'm going to leave it. Thank you for the $5 super chat. $5 Canadian dollars. Thank you. And yes, they need as many bodies as they need. They need more players. They need a 10. Yep. But I'd rather give up a penalty than give up a red card. Maybe St. Vincent can come back from giving up that penalty. They still have the second leg. It is an away goal, but they can come back from it. Giving up a red card while you're down 2-1 on aggregate in Trinidad, you're not coming back from that. I hate to tell you. I'd rather it be a penalty than a red card. You can come back from one penalty. You can't come back from a red card, especially when you're already down on aggregate. You could say, but if it was a 1-1 away goal, you know, you'd still be down technically. True, but there's still sort of a, hey, we could score the one away goal and hope it stays 1-1. We get it to extra time. 2-1 is sort of a impossible answer, you know. But I think there's a difference there, but that's just me. I think there's a difference there, but that's just me. So, 7 minutes. I want the Blues to win. Sorry. For one night. Well, for like the 4 nights or some a year that I'm against you, I'm against you. That I'm surely against you, I'm against you. It's more than 4, but what? You get my point. The 5 or 6. There we go. Yeah, the 2 Blues games and the multiple Leafs games. Let's go, Blues. Oh, yeah, that's the one they're showing on Matrix. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Damn. Hey, but at least the Jets are top of their division. It's not like they're the Flames and they're about to get jumped by the Blues. Right? Could be worse. The Jets are going to be in the playoffs. At least the Jets are in the playoffs. Like, as long as you get them back by the playoffs, you'll be fine. It's not like you're the Flames and the Blues are chasing you down, or the Canucks for that matter. Eight minutes in. Could be worse. You know, it could be worse. And I wish they freaking LTIR'd, the Leafs LTIR'd Austin. And I'm right here wishing the Leafs LTIR'd Austin till the playoffs and traded for somebody. But what do you know? But he's actually been playing better recently. Okay, yeah, some of them are finally falling, but he's hurt. Yeah, some of the goals are finally falling, but the man's hurt. That's obvious. Yeah, the Jets weren't winning that game anyway, so he's hurt. It's obvious Austin's hurt. Do with that what you will. Oh! Damn, that goes past the post. A Cuban almost own goal. If that just cut in a little bit more, Cuba would be... Oh, Lord, this is not going well for Cuba. Not going well for Cuba at all. What? Stephon Diggs reach an agreement, 3 years, $69 million deal with $26 million guaranteed with the Pats. Let's go! Yes! The Pats got Stephon Diggs. Yes! Yes, corner for Trinidad. That's the right call. Header. Ooh. I only bandwagon the Steelers for reasons. Oh, the Patriots were always... Hold on. Can y'all see that, Brady? Hold on. That's a Brady. Yeah, that's a Tom Brady picture. Yeah, no. Either way, hold on. There we go, yeah. Brady, boom. Always a Patriots fan, but I bandwagon the Steelers for reasons. Rory and Blitzo definitely know them. But 11th minute, 0-0. Settle. Rory and Blitzo definitely know the reason. Everybody else can put 2 and 2 together. The Patriots sucked last year anyway, so it's fine. They might suck this year. This might be a little bit better. Shot over the bar. I know why you go. Talk about the Patriots or the Steelers? Well, I said everybody else can put 2 and 2 together, so. Everybody else can put 2 and 2 together, so. You mean Hardee's? You mean Hardee's? Hey, you mean Hardee's? That does sound good, though. He's been called up recently. Let's see. On the bench tonight? No. He did not get called up this window, but he did get called up other windows. I know. I was just saying. I know it is Hardee's. Shot wide. Wow. Cuba's, they're lucky they haven't been scored on. I know, but. It's the same thing. It's just funny that there's 2 different. Like if you said Checkers, but I live where a Rally's is, I'm going to say Rally's. If I live where a Hardee's is, you say Carl's Jr., I'm going to say Hardee's. If I live where White Castle is and you say Crystals, well, I'd still say Crystals because Crystals is better anyway. It's a little bit different comparatively. But sadly enough, 13th minute. Yes, I've lost faith in the USMNT, but I've been sort of the one, even though I thought Berhalter was shit, I always added on the fact the players suck. The players don't care. I never thought by myself, I never thought it was just Berhalter by itself was the problem. I think I always was clear. Berhalter sucks, but the players don't give a shit. I think I was clear about both problems being problems. Pochettino is a good coach, but the players still don't give a shit. I'm not saying, I never said Berhalter was the only guilty party of why the USMNT sucked. The players are also guilty, and they always were in my book. So I don't know if I've lost faith, but I expected better with Pochettino. And then it didn't happen. But, well, at least they beat the USA. I feel like they wanted to play the USA, to be real. I think we let Mexico win. You know, the more I think about it, the more I thought since when the USA went down, Canada was like, we'll throw the game so we can play the tariff war. I legit believe that. The more I think about it, the more I believe they wanted to only play the USA. And as soon as Panama won at the last minute, they threw the game because all they wanted to do was play the USA, whether it was the third place or the final. They would have won if the USA beat Panama. I think we let Mexico win. So you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank Canada for only wanting to play the USA, and thank Donald Trump for running his mouth. So do with that what you will. Elbows up. Do with that what you will. Elbows up. And then Canada got their win. So at least they didn't waste a tournament just to make a point. They made their point. I'm just glad they made their point. They didn't waste the tournament to make their point. They made their point. It would have sucked if they threw the game just to lose and go 4th place anyway. That would have sucked. I'm glad they won. Yeah, but the funny part is the MLS players are the ones who care. When I was 2 months old. No joke. Like the 2000 Gold Cup, I was 2 months old. No joke. When that trophy was, well, no, actually. Just a little bit over a month old, actually. But either way. A month and a week, actually. So above a month, but less than 2. A month and a week when they won that trophy. February 27th. Yeah. So above a month, yeah. Shot over the bar. I still think Canada's better than the USA, though. But I agree. Interesting. Of course. Of course the Leafs are losing. Why wouldn't they be? I think Canada's going to win the Gold Cup this summer. Call it a hunch, but you know what? Canada's losing less players to the Club World Cup than USA is. I think Canada's going to win the Gold Cup. I just have a feeling. Further than the USA, that's as far as I'm going to go. The Canada will make it farther than the USA does at the World Cup. And I'd like to say Mexico, but that's more of a in-the-moment decision. But I think Canada will certainly make it farther than the USA does. I believe that will be the case. Whether that's quarterfinals or just the round of 16, I don't know. But what I do know is Canada's going to make it farther than the USA does. I would put money on it. 19th minute. Shot! Oh, what a save by Rosarena. Shot off the crossbar, man. I mean, yeah, Kevin Sullivan might be better, but haven't we done this before? Haven't we said, oh, Freddie Adu is going to be better than Landon's generation? Oh, Christian Pulisic's going to be better than Clint. How many times have we done this before? Like, once bitten, twice shy. Sure. I mean, I like Kevin. I think he's a good player, but I don't know if he's going to be what they're hyping him up to be. Like, yeah, he's going to Man City, but let's not put the cart before the horse here. I mean, come on. Once bitten, twice shy. That's the third time they barely missed scoring. Trinidad's been hitting at the crossbar the whole game. At least they're winning on aggregate. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Damn, Carolina's down. Shit. Well, I mean, Trinidad's already winning on aggregate, and they're up a man this match. So, yeah, if they don't win the match itself tonight, yeah, no, they do have problems. They should win this match itself, not just on aggregate. You have a point. Speaking of, what's going on in the Suriname-Martinique game? 21 minutes, nothing. 0-0. Suriname still leads on aggregate. Of course he did. Of course he did. 7, 7:30, 7:30, 8, 9. It'll be left for Honduras, Bermuda. So halftime of Honduras, Bermuda, we'll know 6 out of 7 teams advanced, and we'll know 7 out of 7 when I'm done with the Honduras game. Nobody should have ever taken the USA seriously in football. These players aren't serious. Like, I don't think Poch is as bad of a manager as people want to say he is. But come on now. Like, these players aren't serious. Like, if they were serious, they'd be winning. They don't care. 21st minute. Shot, goal. There it is. Goal for Trinidad. And they score 1-0. Number 12, Isaiah Lee with a second goal to tie. Good in front. And he pops it in. Isaiah Lee. 22nd minute goal. 1-0 esta noche. 3-1 global. 3-1 on aggregate. 1-0 on the night. That'll do it. That was coming. Yep. Boom. Rosarena gets right there, but Lee blocks it off to the point where it goes in. "22nd minute, and Trinidad leaves. Yeah, they're going to advance. I mean, Pulisic, okay. Pulisic's in Europe because his father had a better knowing of, well, he also had a European passport. Pulisic had a European passport because of his Croatian heritage, and they took advantage of that. And when he had a chance to go to Dortmund, he went to Dortmund, and somehow he's stuck. After all the Chelsea bullshit, I'm surprised. By the way, I remember all of that bullshit. Wasn't fun. And you can see why I'm so harsh on Christian Pulisic. I had to watch him weekly for like 3 years. 19, 20, 20, 21, 23, 4 years. When he was healthy. And now you can see why I think he's such a fraud. Now it's starting to show through with the USMNT. 1-1, good for the Leafs. I'm like, this guy's obviously a fraud. It's funny how he's so good at AC Milan. I don't watch him weekly now, but still pretty regularly. He's a fraud. And people are like, oh, if Gio Reyna's being sat down by all these managers in Dortmund and Nuno Espirito Santo, if he's being sit down by all these managers, they have a point. Acting like Pulisic hasn't got sat down by Thomas Tuchel, Frank Lampard, and Graham Potter. Acting like the first time he's got regular European football was at AC Milan with Pioli. Acting like he didn't regularly get sat down for years by multiple managers. By the way, Thomas Tuchel, who knew Pulisic from Dortmund, by the way. Let's just clear that one right up. So you could say right now that, so people have problems with Gio Reyna not getting game time. You could say, but what about the injuries? But Pulisic still got sat down after those injuries. They didn't trust him, just like the Dortmund managers don't trust Gio. But nobody had a problem with it when it was Pulisic. And you could say, but that stopped at Milan. Fine, the dude's still a fraud. Unless he's playing Mexico, then he's just fine. Because for some reason, when he plays Mexico, he'll play off his ass. Like, it's weird. Like, the only time we see Pulisic be the guy that people think he was when he plays against Mexico. When Pulisic plays against Mexico, yeah, no, that's the Pulisic I think you're talking about. But why does he not do it against Panama or Bolivia? And it was easy because Bolivia's Bolivia. Yeah, he scored a couple of goals, but it still wasn't pretty. Canada. Jamaica. Trinidad. So yeah, maybe he's getting time at Milan, but I'm talking about his time at Chelsea. This is when I knew he was a fraud. When I knew he was a fraud was when he was playing at Chelsea. I had to watch his ass every week. Watch his ass play every week. And the only good time he had was when there was the bubble. Pulisic was only good during Project Restart. That was the Pulisic where I'm like, hey, if he's like this might be the time Pulisic becomes that guy. Like, I've only seen Pulisic truly perform during Project Restart, Mexico games, and for some reason AC Milan. Now the question is how could you be so consistent over there, but you still suck here? That's the question. So basically, he was Gio Reyna before Gio Reyna. Now he's consistent in Italy, but he can't figure out how to be consistent for the USMNT. And even then, did he play that game in Mexico? Either way. I'm saying what I don't get is how Pulisic is so consistent now with AC Milan and basically their best player. Then again, they're 7th place in Italy, so you know what? Maybe that's the point. He's the best player because that team is 7th place. Maybe that's the point. But he was still their best player last year. They were pretty good last year. Better than 7th place. So it's not like it was just this year. What I don't understand is how could he be so consistent in Italy, but he sucks with the USMNT unless they're playing Mexico? Or why did he suck at Chelsea besides the injuries? Pulisic is like, he used to be too hot or cold. Now he's hot for Milan. And he's cold for the USMNT. I don't know. Corner for Trinidad. Cross in, header wide. And as I said, Christian Pulisic is the LeBron James of soccer, not because he's the GOAT, because of how overrated he is. LeBron is way too overrated, just like Christian Pulisic is. LeBron ain't no GOAT and Pulisic ain't no GOAT. But yeah, you know what? It is a good comparison, just not for the way you think it is. Header. LeBron James of soccer is a good comparison, but just not for the way you think it is. I think it's a good comparison because they're both overrated as all hell. No. 30th minute. And you want me to say this? I hope it's Toronto. I hope it is Toronto. But I will say this. When it comes to basketball, the GOAT is always going to be Michael Jordan. And second's always going to be Kobe Bryant. LeBron ain't even better than Kobe. it's still Jordan, Kobe, Kareem, Bill Russell. LeBron ain't even third. If we're being real, I mean, Bill Russell, Wilt, Kareem, Magic. I don't know if I'd put Shaq up there, but Curry's not up there either, just so we're being real. Now, I'd say I can't do that. I want to say Kawhi's a better player than LeBron. I can't do that. Peak. I mean, Kawhi's peak was better than anything LeBron's ever done. Let's just be real. I prefer to say Kawhi's peak was 2019. I'm biased, though, am I? I'm biased, though, am I? 32nd minute. But you can't say Kawhi's a better player than LeBron. But I agree with that. Playing forward. .34th minute, 1-0 for Trinidad. Holy shit. Freddie Freeman's played 16 seasons of baseball. In the MLB. Jesus Christ, time's flown. Dear God. I didn't even feel, it doesn't even feel like Freddie Freeman's played 16 years. Holy shit. Dear God. Well, yeah, but LeBron's not the GOAT, though. She's the Michael Jordan of women's soccer. Well, no. No, Christine Sinclair. No. Christine Sinclair's the GOAT. You're not going to get me there. But I guess Kobe then. I guess Alex Morgan's Kobe then. Is second best. Because Christine Sinclair's the GOAT. You almost got me. But Alex Morgan is not LeBron because she's actually second best. That would be Kobe. The all-time GOAT for basketball is Drazen Petrovic. All-time three-point percentage shooter, NBA history. Plus Yugoslavia beat Jordan's USA Olympic squad before he was pro. No. Yeah. Predictions 5-3. On aggregate? I mean, I'll agree with that. Playing forward. 2-1 Leafs. Let's go. CS Saint Laurent teases huge announcement. I hope it's a CS Saint Laurent join the CPL in 2026. CS Saint Laurent deserves to go up to the CPL. They do. Besides, there needs to be a Quebec team in the CPL. It's weird that there isn't. 37th minute. Like, it's legitimately weird there's no Quebec team in the CPL. It's legit weird. 6 years and no Quebec team, and the closest thing you have is Ottawa, because Ottawa's... And there's a goal for Trinidad. Isaiah Lee with his second. His third of the tie. 2-0, 4-1 on aggregate. 37th minute. Four to 1, 4-1 global, 2-0 esta noche. What a shot, but Arozarena was way off his line. Way off his line was Arozarena, and Isaiah Lee puts it away. This kid is good. It's still Christine Sinclair. Awful giveaway, yep. It's still Christine Sinclair. Yep. I mean, yeah, if you're getting 4 on 5, 2-0. 2-0, Trinidad. 4-1 on aggregate. I mean, it was based on the double headers, and more Mexican fans bought the tickets than USA fans. Besides, it was Panama and Canada. And those prices were way too high for USA games and barely any English advertisements. So do that what you will. Yeah. Good. Oh. No, the announcement for Saint Laurent is they're playing at Claude Robillard this season. CS Saint Laurent's going to be playing their games at Claude Robillard. Bolivia 0-0 against Uruguay. At least Uruguay didn't lose. Seattle would have been a better place. I mean, I agree to a certain extent. 40th minute. '40th minute, 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. I think the prices were trouble too. Shot over the bar by Cuba. USMNT needs a motivational talk with Cena, Undertaker, and The Rock. Really, Undertaker? And like Undertaker's a good promo? Okay, yeah, no. If you want to scare the shit out of him, I guess that works. But Cena, Rock, I get it. I don't think Cena would because he'd rather would play heel. I mean, he ain't gonna mess his character up. But okay, that's fine. Vince McMahon. You do realize that's a bad idea right now, don't you? You do realize it's a bad idea right now. Hogan. Hogan would be great. If they wouldn't boo the shit out of him. Still 0-0 for Martinique and Suriname. Playing forward, 43rd minute. Playing forward, cleared. Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, I remember Hogan knows best. I mean, Minnesota hosting the Nations League wouldn't be bad, but well, Canadians could get there easy. It would suck if Canada didn't make the Final Four. Be a missed opportunity if that was the case. "45th minute." Yeah, I would agree with that. Two minutes stoppage time. Well, you know, Brock lives in Canada, right? He's not even from Minnesota anymore. Brock lives in Saskatchewan. Said it the way he says it because why not? If Brock says that's the way you say it, nobody wants to see Brock get angry. He'd break all those players over his knee. 47th minute. And it's halftime, 2-0. Pulisic, Scottie Pippen. Reina. Halftime, it's 2-0. 2-0 esta noche. 4-1 global. Two 0 on at the half, 4-1 on aggregate. New Gold Cup ad, eh? With that being said, 45 minutes down, 45 to go. Let's see what the other game is. Halftime, 0-0 between Martinique and Suriname. 0-1 on aggregate for Suriname. And Jamaica St. Vincent's about to start as we speak. But with that being said, sit tight, be back. Short break at the half. We'll have the stats. Be good. Sit tight, be back. We're back for the stats of the half. Good. We're back for the stats of the half. We have 57% possession. Yeah, they put the point there. I'm going to round up and round down because I can at least do that. 57% possession to 43% possession. We have 1 offside to 0, 3 corners, 1 to 2, 244 pass to 191, 87% pass accuracy to 82% pass accuracy, 13 crosses to 4. We have 2 goals to 0, 11 shots to 5, 4 shots on goal to 0. We have, yeah, that's about what I talk about. Yeah, I love how they added the shots on target to the CONCACAF stats, but they freaking spread everything apart. That pisses me off. 8 fouls to 7, 0 yellows to 0, 0 red cards to 1, 2-0 at the half. 12-0, medio tiempo. Trinidad's the better team, but they've been knocking at the door. They should have more than 2 goals. Let's just be real. They've done everything they needed to do this game. They're up a man. This is a game they're dominating. I don't have much else to say, but they are kicking. They're kicking Cuba's ass, rightfully so. I don't think there's anything else to say but that. So. Red was the right call, yes. Solid half from Suriname, still 0-0. Martinique had 2 good chances early. We dominated them afterwards. Keeper had to make 2 good saves. Some last-ditch tackles from defenders. We played some nice passes in tight spaces, got out of those situations. Build-up plays been beautiful. We need Farah to connect, play better, and shoot more from range. Yeah, well, we kind of have to. Hopefully you... Well, actually, no, I'm rooting for the Blues, so... If you win, good. If the Blues win, good for me. CONCACAF's live right now, huh? And it's not here. Okay, so as far as I can do is just look at the score of that game. Second half's about to start because the Blues are my second favorite team. It's nothing against you. It's the fact the Blues are my second favorite team. It's one of the 6 times a year I want the Habs to lose when they're playing the Blues or Leafs. I'm fine with the Habs. Just not when they're playing the Leafs or Blues. So. But with that being said, waiting for the second half to start. All right. But waiting for the second half of this match to start. Jamaica's match is starting in any second now. Any second now. For them to start. As they play at 7 o'clock Central. Huh. It's kind of funny. Second half about to start. We'd love to see the CPL continue to grow and grow. I agree with that. I agree with that. I love the CPL. I think it's an amazing league. I want to see the CPL grow even more too. Second half. Waiting for the second half to start. Champs Cup back next week. Quarterfinal first leg of Miami versus LAFC is at 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern. Champs Cup's back next week. And we're off. Trinidad kicks off the second half. We have a pretty slow week after today. Monday off, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, Saturday, Sunday. Of course, we have, I wouldn't say a crazy weekend, but a normal weekend. And we move. Next week will be busy. Still got a one for Casanova, but Cuba's pretty much done and dusted. Pretty much. Trying to play the ball forward, see if they can get anything out of this second half. Now, the good news for Cuba is if they could somehow hold Trinidad to a clean sheet in the second half, hold them to 2 goals, and score 3 away goals, they would have the aggregate win. So if Cuba could win this game 2-3, they would win the tie. Is the good news for Cuba. It's not over yet, but it's kind of over, but it's mostly over, but it's not totally over. Probably over. Playing forward. Shot wide for Trinidad. Let's see where we are. And Jamaica started 0-0 6 minutes in. Still 0-0 between Martinique and Suriname. Guatemala, Guyana will start in about 19 minutes, give or take. Plus, as Guadeloupe's match will start then as well. Costa Rica, Belize starts at 8. We have Honduras, Bermuda at 9. 48th minute. Oh, goes down the box, no foul. We'll know who advances to the Gold Cup from Suriname, Martinique as the Trinidad game is over. But we know Trinidad probably will be the team advancing to the Gold Cup, and Suriname's the one sitting pretty against Martinique. Jamaica has the away goal lead against St. Vincent. Shot blocked. Cuba playing forward. 49th minute, 2-0. 2-0 esta noche. 4-1 on aggregate. 4-1 global. Mm-hmm. 50th minute. Sam stops Jake Neighbors. Huh. Interesting. Playing forward, 50th minute. 40 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Trinidad with a ball. Trying to see if they... Trinidad should hold on. Spicer! Shot! Oh, what a save! Shot, rebound, goal! Kevin Molino! And guess who set it up? Tyrese Spicer! Spicer sets it up. What a play! That's got to be an assist, if not a secondary assist for Tyrese Spicer. Takes the shot. Saved by Rosarena. And Kevin Molino puts it away. Tyrese Spicer sets it up. And Kevin Molino puts it away. 3-0. 3-0 Trinidad. Kevin Molino with a goal. '52nd minute. 3-0, 3-0 esta noche, 5-1 global. 5-1 on aggregate. Kevin Molino with a goal. Tyrese Spicer with a setup. I don't know if they'll give him an assist, but he should get one. Took the shot that got saved, that got played right to Kevin Molino on the rebound. 2-0 Colombia. I'm not surprised. Tyrese Spicer gets an assist. It counts to me, damn it. 3 key passes, 2 tackles. Oh, they don't tell you how many assists he gets. Well, there you go. 1 key shot, by the way, by Tyrese Spicer, which that's the one shot. Yeah, there you go. There we go. Nice. Spicer with the assist, Molino with a goal. I'm calling an assist for Spicer. That's he did the dirty work on that goal. If only he could do that for Toronto. If only he could do that for Toronto. And this is why I think Tyrese Spicer is a better player than Theo Corbianu, but fight me. Shot wide. Tyrese Spicer, the way he set up that goal for Molino is exactly why I think he's a better player than Theo Corbianu. Corbianu would never. Insigne would never as well, but I think we've dealt with that. Tyrese Spicer, though, he did the dirty work. Insigne would never. Corbianu would never. Corbianu's not afraid to go at a defender, but he ain't going to do the dirty work. Insigne don't want to do shit. There's a difference there. Spicer, though, he could get the glory if he wants, but he could also do the dirty work. What do you mean he's a good player? What do you mean he's a good player? I ain't seen him be a good player in 4 years. The last time he was a good player was the Euros. He certainly hadn't been a good player since he touched down in Toronto. Substitution. Thomas and James about to come on for Trinidad. Isaiah Lee coming off for James. That don't mean... Okay, so it was an 89 rated card on FIFA. That don't mean nothing. That doesn't correlate to real life. I said he hadn't been a good player in 4 years. Thomas coming on for Garcia. Passer's still on the pitch. You love to see it. He did have skills on the ball. Was a good passer and was a threat outside the box. He don't do the dirty work, though, but even when he was a good player, he never did the dirty work. He never did the dirty work that Spicer just did there. Like, yeah, cool. 4 years ago, yeah. Well, if that's the case, you know what? I don't blame him there. They've been trash since he's been there. If that's, you know what, fair. I'll give him that. But part of the reason they're trash is because he doesn't try. But, you know what? To a certain extent, I understand. But if they're paying you $15 million, I mean, I'm surprised. You know, I'll give him Saturday though. Insigne, he tried. I'll give Insigne the fact he tried on Saturday. He did try on Saturday. I think he played pretty good on Saturday comparatively to a lot of his appearances. Jets goal. He could definitely use a good game coming up. I mean, I would prefer if we had to have a number 10, or we do need a number 10, I would prefer Insigne to play over Osorio. And he come back from injury? No, he's come back from the fact he wasn't playing. He wasn't even on the roster because they wanted to get rid of him. And then there was barely anybody to play on Saturday, so they played Insigne because they had to play somebody to play a full roster. Playing forward. Shot! Saved by Rosarena. Yes, the Cuba goalkeeper of Rosarena is the brother of Randy, by the way, if you were wondering. Raiko Rosarena is Randy's brother, yes. But I will say this. If it was up to me, I would rather have Insigne play the 10 than Osorio at this point. At least Insigne showed more than Oso has since game 1 of this season. I can't believe Oso scored a goal because he did score the first game of the season. He got his goal, so he still has his record of every season he's been on Toronto's. He's at least scored 1 goal. Ever since then, do that what you will. But, I mean, yeah, I prefer Insigne playing the 10 until we get somebody who's new over Oso, in my opinion. Saw that goal live. Oso with DC. You were at that game? 60th minute. You were at the DC game. I feel like you did say that, but either way, 60th minute. I mean, it was a rebound, too. I mean, it wasn't like cleared away by Trinidad. I mean, on TV. Oh, you were watching the game. It just wasn't. '60th minute. Oso's only captain and starting because of his experience. And the bad part about Oso is that he's been washed up for like 2 years, ever since his head injury. It's just gotten worse and worse. It's like he got the armband way, like, at the weakest of his powers. At least when Bradley got the armband, he was at his peak playing forward. Oso, I mean, God love him. He's done amazing things for the club. Oso's a good guy, but God love him. He's got the armband at the worst time possible. Because I think Bradley tried to hang on too long. Oso was always going to get the armband after him. And I guess you can't really tell him, hey, it's just not going to work out. I mean, you had to let it run, but I think it's been long enough now that you could admit, especially if you're going to play him at the 10 or play him on the wing, it's just not going to work. If we didn't have Flores and Coelho, I think he'd be better off at the defensive mid spots. I don't think he's number 10. I don't think he's on the wing, which is also kind of the problem that they had against Canada had against Mexico, was he played on the wing. He played more attacking, and that was kind of the problem they had there. I don't think he's an attacking player anymore. If he is going to play, it has to be center defensive mid or center mid. More box to box or defensive than forward. Defensive first, passing first. And that's not exactly what he's doing. But the problem is we have Coelho and Flores, so I'd still rather have Oso over Longstaff, don't get me wrong. Like, if one of Flores or Coelho got hurt, I'd put Oso in over Longstaff. I don't like Matty. I think Matty was good for a little bit. Then once he realized Herdman was his meal ticket, he stopped giving a shit. And he may be a little bit better right now than he was at his worst with Herdman, because he actually has to prove it with Fraser. But I still don't think Matty is that special. I don't think, for a former Prem player, he ain't that special. I don't think he's that special. Like if Flores or Coelho was hurt, I'd play Oso over Longstaff. Just like right now, since we don't have an actual number 10, I would play Insigne over Osorio as the number 10. But if we had somebody like Suso or Pozuelo came back, or Asadi, or we actually had a number 10 that wasn't Insigne and we got rid of Insigne, that kills one bird with one stone. I would rather play Spicer at the wing than Corbianu, if I'm being real. I would probably give Corbianu one chance at the 10 before I totally committed to Insigne there, before they told him to screw off if it was me. But I'd probably give Corbianu a chance or two at the 10 before I totally committed to Insigne. Because I wouldn't exactly want to do that, but I mean, it is kind of bad that, oh, damn, I just realized Corbianu was on the bench. On the weekend, the whole time. Holy shit, that means Fraser likes Insigne more than Corbianu. Ugh. I mean, if you basically said, hey, Coelho's out, Oso, Longstaff, or Cozy, or same thing with Flores, I'd probably stick with Oso. Cozy Thompson, if it was a game that had penalty shootout possibilities, I'd put Cozy in there. Because Cozy's been pretty good with penalty shootouts, except the Vancouver game. But he's been pretty solid on penalties. If it was a regular old game, probably Oso. Substitution 2 for Cuba. 2 subs for Cuba. 65th minute. I think Cozy's a little bit green. You know, I think he's a little bit... Cozy has potential. The problem is he's green. He's still green. And... But then again, I guess you get better by playing. So do you... But then again, he also could play outside back. But then you have Simermancic and Wingo. And I could see why our academy sucks. Okay, I can see why our academy has problems. Like, I mean, he's kind of a Swiss Army knife. That also doesn't really help his case. Like, if he had one position to focus on, cool, but makes some mistakes. He makes some mistakes, and then you... Oh. But then you have the fact he can play outside back. He can play center back, but then you have Lazar there as well, which I think Lazar is a high prospect for center back. I mean, I'm surprised he doesn't get more time. I think he's very talented, Lazar. I think he's very talented. So, especially over Rosted. I mean, hell, Long too. If you're trying to make do with what you have, but if it was me, I probably would play Lazar more at center back if we were making do with what we had. I have a lot of faith in Lazar. I really do, especially after that St. Louis game back in 2023. Yeah, it was 1 goal against, but I thought he was really good in that game. And he's been good every time he shows up, so he's talented. I think he's got a lot of potential. I do. But he's better than Rosted for sure. Is he better than Long? Yeah, I'd say it's a wash at this point. Monlouis and Stefanovic is the 2 center back, central defensive center backs. Wouldn't mind it at all. I think that'd be a good move. I think they'd be amazing together, Monlouis and Stefanovic, but then Gomis could drop in as a center back, so you have that as well if you wanted to. But since Larea's out, probably Gomis, Stefanovic, Monlouis, Wingo for now. Once Larea comes back, depending on what's going on, do you drop him in or just take Wingo out and put Gomis on the other end? You could see, but either way. Yeah, I like Davey. I said in 2020 Davey should be playing in MLS, but you know exactly what I meant by that. Then Toronto finally signed him. I was really happy about that, and then he did well last year, and he's still doing well. Like, I thought Davey would be amazing for TFC a long time ago. I would have, if it was up to me, I would have signed him a long time ago. So, I'm glad I was right about Davey. I'm glad it all played out to where I was right about him. I told y'all. I told y'all. I told y'all. Whenever I think a player is good enough from Central America or watching them play in other matches, and I think they could be signed by this team and play well, I'll normally say play well in MLS or should be signed for MLS, but you know exactly what I mean by that. I normally, well, at least Davey shows I'm right, you know, but there you go. Interesting. 70th minute, 3-0. But yeah, I mean, CONCACAF League, Champions League. Oh, Toronto FC are closing in on the signing of Swiss midfielder Maxime Dominguez on loan from Vasco da Gama. So he went from Suso to Maxime Dominguez. Is he a number 10? Okay. He better be a number 10. He better be a number 10. He does have European experience, though, so that's good news. 29. Okay. I mean, getting a player from the Brasileiro, that's a genius play. It's the best league in South America. Good idea. '71st minute. Yeah, Toronto signing a player from frickin' 1-0 Jamaica, 30th minute against St. Vincent. 2-1 on aggregate. 73rd minute down in Martinique, Suriname, still 0-0. Guatemala's about to start. Guadeloupe's about to start. Suriname still leads 1-0 on aggregate over Martinique. 72nd minute. Martinique game's a little bit ahead. Bravo's on for Espino. A Johnny Fortune coming on for Tyrese Spicer is still on. Number 10, Kevin Molino. A Johnny Fortune's coming on. Atlanta United, a Johnny Fortune. He was playing for Atlanta. I think he still plays for Atlanta, yeah. Damn, the Gold Cup patch is coming off of Kevin Molino's jersey. Why are CONCACAF Why are CONCACAF's patches so easy to fall off jerseys? I swear. Yeah, I am. Toronto never stopped. They played last weekend. '74th minute. '74th minute. 3-0 Trinidad. This should be an easy walkthrough, but (2-0) Argentina over Brazil, and Argentina's already qualified for the World Cup. Argentina's already officially qualified for the World Cup, even before their game started. So, '75th minute, ball crossed in, headed away, cleared. I say NYCFC draws. Atlanta beats Minnesota. 1-0 Blues, Jordan Kyrou. Good. 75th minute, 15 minutes left in this game. Corner for Cuba. Ball crossed in, brought down. Oh, saved by Smith. Nice little just punch that thing up to get it to him. Nice play. That was cool. That was risky, but it was cool. Risky, but cool. Risky, but cool. 76th minute. Punch it behind him and just boom. Playing forward. Ooh. '76th minute. '77th minute. Lane Hudson to Suzuki. Well, good for them. 1-1. '77th minute. Player down hurt for Cuba. 78th minute. And it's still 0-0 between Suriname and Martinique. 2 minutes ahead of the Trinidad game. So they should have a final whistle first. Saved. 78 minutes. Eleven minutes to go. Belize game's over. They're playing for pride. Yeah, that's why I'm not covering it. I covered the first one, and they got punched. Got the shit punched out of them. Can't cover the Guatemala, Guyana, Guadeloupe games or the Jamaica game because Tyrese Spicer's coming off. After 80 minutes, he's coming off the pitch healthy. He will play, hopefully he'll play this weekend for Toronto. Probably, one training session? Gilbert, 2-1 Blues. 1-0 Suriname. Yeah. Oh, they scored. Good. 10 minutes to go. Suriname scores 2-0 on aggregate. They were walking a tightrope. But they get a goal. Suriname. There's no VAR, so that should stand. Hasn't shown up on CONCACAF's website yet. Unless you talk about the aggregate. Bozo Menzo. Are you talking about the aggregate? Wait, are you talking about the aggregate? Wait, aggregate? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, you're talking about the aggregate. Oh. Nope, it's still 1-0 on aggregate for Suriname. Oh, no, they did get a goal. Okay, good. They got it. Argentina's dominating Brazil, and they didn't need to. They're already in the World Cup. It's legit 1-0. Farai scored. Yep, it just showed up on CONCACAF's website. There it is. It just showed up. It took a little bit to show up, but it showed up. There it is. Farai scores the goal. 1-0, 2-0 on aggregate, and that should be enough considering there's only 9 minutes plus stoppage time left. Thoughts on Argentina and Iran qualifying for the World Cup? I'm happy for them. They both deserve it. Argentina top of CONMEBOL. Iran playing well in the AFC. I mean, they're doing a good job. They deserve it. Jamaica 1-0 up on St. Vincent. Guatemala still tied with Guyana 2-3. 0-0. Guadeloupe 0-0. They have a 1-0 lead on aggregate. Those are 8 minutes each. Free kick for Trinidad, and they're just going to play it back. 81st minute. 81st minute. 81st minute. Trump has a travel ban on Iran, though. But I guarantee you the team will be able to get in to play the World Cup. As Cuba, when Cuba was embargoed, they still got in to play the Gold Cup. I'm sure the team will at least be able to get in. Now, their fans, we'll see what happens there. But I'm sure the players will be able to get in. They'll play in Mexico. I think some people are fear-mongering, forgetting the fact that teams like Cuba, when the embargo was still on, got to play the Gold Cup in this country. So I'm sure Trump and Infantino have an understanding with each other that when it comes to the teams, they should be able to be allowed in. I'm sure of it. But again, there have been teams who have had problems, who should have problems getting into this country, been able to play tournaments in this country that didn't mean a damn thing. AKA Cuba under embargo at multiple Gold Cups. So, do with that what you will. Sports, Oh, God. Oh, God. Politically, you remember that one friendly that Canada was supposed to play against Iran that got canceled? And then they replaced it with Panama, and it still got canceled because of a strike. But it was at first Iran, Canada, and then political reasons got it canceled. Then they replaced Iran with Panama, and then Canada canceled that game for a strike before they played their Nations League game against Barbados? No, Curacao. But they were in Vancouver for one window, and they were going to play a friendly. Jets Caps 1-1 after the first period. Oh, it's better than I expected. But yeah, no, Iran and Canada have political tensions. Or at least did. So, I mean, technically the World Cup, you do what's supposed to be done, but I think if Canada and Iran played in the same group, some people are going to have a cow. So, but then again, I guess that just ruins my argument. And Trinidad scores 4-0 Trinidad. 5-1 on aggregate. Or no, it's 6-1 on aggregate now. Trinidad 4-0. 4-0. That is Nathaniel James in the 84th minute. Nathaniel James. Goal for Nathaniel James. Gets in, shot, boom. Down the middle of the net, under the arm of Rosarena, and that's going to do it. 4-0, 6-1 on aggregate. 6-2 Leafs? Whoa. How? Four 0 on the night, 6-1 on aggregate, 4-0 esta noche, 6-1 global Trinidad. Yeah, I can believe it. They did good. That's what the Leafs needed to do. 4 goals in the second period. Holy shit. If they blow this, and they scored 4 straight goals. No, they scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They scored all 6 of their goals straight. And then they let Sean Couturier score to pull one back with seconds to go in the second period. Of course, here we go. They're going to blow it. Here we go. They're going to blow it. Tavares, Nylander, McMahon, Tavares, Nylander, Camp. Poor Tortorella. Yeah, I hate it for him. I like John Tortorella. I like him. I like Tortorella. Riley's going to be a -2 in a game we're winning, of course. Ugh. Hey, maybe you could put up your reaction while we're talking about during the first half of the Honduras game if they score. But it happens. I hope it happens during the second half. Cross in, shot, saved, 87th minute. So it's fine if Mexico annexes Cuba, but okay. Well, they talked about it, though. Yeah, but, well, I mean, I guess now a shine bomb, considering Mexico as a socialist president. Maybe. But nobody's going to talk about that, though. But if Mexico did annex Cuba, nobody's going to talk about that, right? But, oh, Greenland's a problem, huh? It's a problem if anybody annexes anybody. Yeah, but the problem with New Zealand is they put themselves at a lower rung of AFC, and OFC gets destroyed. There's no team in OFC who's going to be the new big dog of that confederation. And then New Zealand is going to have to actually compete with other teams. Yeah, I mean, they're giving up a free World Cup spot. Like, no. Like, if you're New Zealand, in this case, you're going to give up a free World Cup spot every 4 years. Because very likely every year you're going to win. Every time they have the World Cup qualifiers, you're going to win the tournament to qualify for the full spot. So, and even then, if you don't, as long as you're the runners-up, which you probably will be, worst case scenario, you have a chance to go back to the playoff. Why would you basically say, you know what, 100%, we're either in 100% by winning our confederation, or we have another 50-50 shot like we're used to. But the worst case scenario, we have a 50-50 shot. Why would you give that up? Best case, every 4 years you're in the World Cup. Worst case, you have a 50-50 shot like you're used to. Why would you give that up? But more cases, it's going to be the best case. Like every, 3 or 4 cycles, maybe 5, you're going to have that worst case scenario of play a playoff again, unlike every time until now. I don't know. You also have a way to grow is go to the World Cup every 4 years and see what that does for you. But I think that's the better way to grow. This is my opinion. Like when you know you're going to the World Cup every 4 years, hey, it's the way to grow. But then, and it's full time. They're just going to end it right now. Full time, 4-0 for Trinidad and Tobago on the night, 6-1 on aggregate. 4-0 esta noche. 6-1 global. Trinidad avanzar, Copa Oro. Trinidad is going to the Gold Cup. Cuba will not be in the Gold Cup this summer. Trinidad will be at the Gold Cup this summer. With that being said, if you like this, well, hold on. Let's see. Is the Martinique-Suriname game over? We will let that run. We're about to hit halftime in Jamaica, 1-0. 1-0 Guatemala, 3-3 on aggregate. 19 minutes. 0-0 for Guadeloupe in there, 19 minutes. Well, let's let it sit. Let's see if it's going to go to that game. Fair enough, but at least you're there. Any good Cuban players? Rico or Rosarena? But going is something. They chased Jari. Well, there you go. No, it looks like they're just going to go to highlights. So let's let the Suriname game finish, and we'll talk about that. FS2 is where the next game is. So we'll just put it on there. We're at halftime. So if halftime of the Jamaica game, 1-0, 2-1 on aggregate. Who we got there? How'd that go there? We got the goal for Jamaica was by Brown. Brown scores the goal. All right. Halftime at that game. We're not full time yet for the Suriname game. So, see what they say on the commentary. They did not add, doesn't say how much they added. We're at 94 minutes. Suriname's about to advance as long as some crazy stuff doesn't happen. 90 plus 4. Might as well let it finish and say if they made it through. So Trinidad's the first of the 7 teams to finish their prelim ties. Trinidad advances to the Gold Cup. They will be in the Gold Cup this summer. And Surinam's going to the Gold Cup. The game is over. Full time for Suriname. Should be. Suriname 1-0, 2-0 on aggregate. Suriname advancing to the Gold Cup. Suriname avançar. Copa Oro. Team 2 to advance is Suriname. Must have hit full time because I know he wouldn't say none if it didn't. Suriname, yep, there they go. They're in. Suriname's going to the Gold Cup. Jamaica leads St. Vincent. Guatemala tied it up on aggregate. On Guyana, Guadeloupe still leads. 22nd minute, both the Guatemala and Guadeloupe games. Yeah. I hope Suriname plays Canada, though. With that being said, if you like this stream, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribe. Send some chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put this in playlist. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I will see you at 9 o'clock, 8:55 for the Honduras-Bermuda game. And by then, we'll know who won the Jamaican tie. We'll know who advanced from the Jamaica tie. We'll be close to the end of the Guatemala and Guadeloupe ties, and we'll have the first half over with the Belize tie. So, we'll know by the end of the Honduras game all 7 teams who advanced. But we know by now Suriname and Trinidad have advanced to the Gold Cup. We know that. Well, sadly enough, he's already cap-tied for Cuba, so I think he's too old to make the move anyway to Mexico, even if he could. Unless they got annexed, I guess, which is probably why you're... Yeah. With that being said, if you like this stream, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribe. Send some chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put it in the playlist. Share it with friends and family. All that great stuff. I'll see you within the hour pretty much for the second leg or the second game of the night. And we'll review it once it's over. And you ain't going to see me till Saturday after that. So it's going to be a long time, I guess. Mexico was always in the Gold Cup because they got to the finals, the semifinals of the Nations League. That's what qualified them. With that being said, see you in an hour, and we'll talk about Honduras, Bermuda. So with that being said, see you later. Sit tight. I'm Ryan, and I'm out. Peace. See you later.